Last time on Echo! Echo can be an emotionally intense experience and may not be for everyone. Please put your mental well-being first and take this into consideration before downloading. And please take that into consideration before watching this series as well. TJ stares up at Flynn, muzzles it grimly. What happened to Sydney? Okay, so that's what happened here. Okay. I mean, makes sense, those were the two big mysteries. Up until this point were Sydney and what happened here at the lake. Oh, so I guess this is the route split. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna find TJ. We're so high up. I smirk, sneaking up behind him. No, don't shove him! Maybe. I grin, then suddenly slap both of my paws on his shoulders. Ah! TJ leans forward, as if that will help, and cups his paws around his muzzle before yelling as loud as he can. Yeah! This time I do hear a return. This is a good part to voice act while my window is open. All my neighbors hear me yelling. Oh my word, is that Chase? Oh, her. Okay. Oh my word, is that Chase? I just made it slightly higher. That's fine. That's not a good voice for her at all. They have a really weird mirror here. After a quick look to make sure the door is locked, I undo my belt and push down my pants and boxers to wear on my thighs. If I really want to take care of the musk smell, I'm gonna have to go down under. What? Oh. I thought you, for some reason I thought you were gonna go into the toilet or something. I was like, what? It was hard to tell from the angle and all the dust kicked up by the van, but now I can see that Janice has her pants down around her thighs. I can also see everything else. Okay. Janice is looking at us now and she's smiling. It's a weird smile because it isn't touching her eyes. Yeah, sure, I was wanting to try Ah! What the hell? What happened? I finally catch up to him, panting under the heat. TJ's gasping too, but probably more out of fear. A tarantula! How are those cookies? Oh, good. They were good, huh, TJ? TJ, still smiling, just gives a curt nod. Good, good. My secret recipe. She winks at me, and I feel a little uncomfortable because the smile doesn't touch her eyes. The smile? Thursday! I think this is where we'll leave off for now. Now, back to the video! Hi, welcome back to Echo. So, once again, I have edited the last video, and I've written down some notes for myself about things that I want to talk about right here at the beginning, before we get into the game again. So, us finding Janice in the desert with her pants down weirdly parallels TJ finding Chase in the bathroom with his pants down. Does that mean something? Is what I've written down in my notes. And, yeah. I mean, it is a weird sort of parallel. Like, they happen, like, pretty closely to each other. They're so similar. Is there something there? I don't know. I don't know what it could be, but, like, it's weird. Also, I should probably try to keep in mind how TJ was acting when he, saw the tarantula. Because him recovering from it so fast just makes it weird. Like, was he actually affected by something or not? Why would he have just made something like that up and tried so hard to convince Chase about it? I still don't really get it. Did he actually see something? If he did, I think it probably wasn't a tarantula. It was probably just something really weird. But then, like, the quick recovery, he's like, did he just, like, forget about it? Or is he trying to hide something from Chase? Suspicious behavior, TJ. I gotta keep an eye on him on this route where I keep an eye on him at all times because it's his route. And then, last thing I wrote down here is Janice did the wink and weird smile while talking about using her secret recipe in the cookies. So did she put something in them? Or is that just how she smiles? Like where her smile doesn't touch her eyes? Because it's the same kind of smile that she did when we caught her with her pants down. Oh, also, I still have cookies here. Not the same cookies, but the same types of cookies. I mean, obviously, it's not the same cookies. I'm not just regurgitating them and eating them again. But it's a different bag of cookies. So, with those there to comfort me, let's get into the game and try to get through some of this. I'll probably just do the next 2 days, or if they're really short, I might do the whole rest of this route, including all of the endings. But probably not. There's a dull throbbing in my head when I wake up, a remnant of the raging headache I'd had yesterday. I take some Tylenol when TJ goes into the bathroom so he doesn't see. I don't want to worry him. While he's taking one of his insanely long showers, I go down to the lobby to get some breakfast. When I come back into the room, balancing 2 plates full of bagels, bacon, and eggs, I'm surprised to see TJ already done. He's busy brushing his fur in the mirror, trying to tame the comical, fluffed-up look he has going on. I can't believe I forgot my shampoo. Look at how ridiculous I look. He holds his arms out to me and Jenna. Jenna grunts, not really paying attention as she types away furiously on her laptop. I think it's kinda cute. TJ smiles. You mean funny? No, you just look a little chubby. I smirk at TJ's mortified look as I set the plates down on the table, which forces Jenna to push her laptop aside for the moment. TJ opens a packet of jam and butter before spreading it neatly on a bagel cut in half. I watch as some of it sticks to the long fur around his mouth while he nibbles at it. He wipes it away with a napkin, only to start the process over again. It's so sad that you're going to spend all your time doing homework, Jenna. I'm taking 2 midterms the Monday we get back, so it's fairly necessary, TJ. Jenna doesn't even look up from her laptop as she responds. I really should do those like mouth warm-ups before recording these videos, or at least something like reading practice beforehand. Jenna doesn't even look up from her laptop as she responds, focused solely on whatever it is she's typing. I'm pretty sure she just shoved half a bagel into her mouth before she went back to work. TJ sits there quietly for a moment, taking another bite. You think you'll have time to do anything today? Jenna doesn't answer for a few seconds, the only sound the faint patter of the keyboard. Finally, she stops and looks up for the first time in probably an hour. I don't think so. I have a lot of work to do. Why don't you two go out and do something? We will. It would just be nice if you could go with us. I snort. Yeah, come with us to do more work at Janice's house. Again. TJ lowers his ears. Again? TJ takes another bite of his bagel, and it doesn't look like he's gonna say anything. Yeah, I mean, did Janice even give us a chance to, like, decline the more work yesterday? I don't remember. TJ takes another bite of his bagel, and it doesn't look like he's gonna say anything. I sigh. Yeah, she kinda cornered him and got him to say he'd do more work. Jenna rolls her eyes and returns her attention back to the laptop. Janice taking advantage of people? Shocker. Jenna. TJ protests quietly. You know she used to give me some sort of sob story at the diner to get me to tip better? TJ frowns. Well, she does have a tough life, Jenna. Despite being annoyed at having to go back to Janice's, I find myself siding with TJ. I think you do whatever you can here to make money. It's probably hard to own a house as just a waitress. Yeah, well, maybe don't be a waitress in a crap town. She could at least try to find something else if it's that hard. I mean, we need waitresses as well. In diners and stuff. It's just kind of unfortunate that they don't really get paid very well from it. Plus, maybe she just likes being a waitress. And, well, she still needs to earn a living. TJ is still frowning, his ears down. I can tell he wants to say something more, but Jenna is an intimidating figure to try and argue with. Yeah, that's why I'm not there. And I'm just arguing behind my screen. It's quiet for another minute before Jenna sighs loudly. Sorry, I'm just a little stressed out right now. I have a lot of stuff to get done. It's alright. I wish we could help you out. Jenna laughs without any humor. I wish you could too. TJ falls silent, staring at the small piece of bagel held between his fingers. My phone buzzes in my pocket, and I take it out, surprised to see a text from Carl. Yo! I stare at it for a moment. Huh. Hi. What is it? TJ asks around his last bite of bagel, holding a napkin daintily in front of his mouth as he chews. Carl. Jenna's typing stops again. Really? How's he doing? I don't know. He seems okay. He just said, yo! That means he's A-okay. I realized then that I hadn't really had a chance to ask Jenna or anyone else what had happened with Carl yesterday. Where was he? Leo said you guys found him. Yeah? Jenna pauses, staring at the screen of her laptop. What happened? I really don't know. Flynn found him in the crawl space, apparently. Oh, the crawl space? For some reason I get chills running up my arms. What in the world was he doing down there? Yeah. Jenna shakes her head. When I went down there, he was just sitting on the ground and Flynn told me to leave. I raise my brows and TJ gives me a confused look. He was standing in front of him so I couldn't see him, like if he was upset or something. What was he doing? Janice shrugs. Flynn took him upstairs and we left after that. Was he, like, drunk or something? TJ seems to try and word it delicately. Janice shrugs again, then turns back to her writing. He's always high, isn't he? I look back down at my phone. Hang out? Does his A not work? No, it does, because it says una. Is he that high right now? It takes a second to figure it out. When I do, I look back up at TJ. What time does Janice want us over? We'll go in the evening, when it's not so hot. TJ looks down and lowers his ears again. Because I don't want TJ to get all apologetic again, I keep talking. Do you want to go hang out with Carl? TJ smiles. Yeah, that could be a lot of fun. Alright then. Sure, TJ's also coming with me. For some reason, though, I can't shake the feeling that something is off. Yeah. Stepping out into the parking lot, TJ immediately starts heading for the road while I pause by the car, holding my keys. TJ turns around. Are we walking? I look up the road towards the foothills of the mountains, Carl's house an intimidating speck in the distance, barely visible through the heat haze. Oh, did you want to drive? I shield my eyes against the sun, only just over the mountains, but still promising a hellscape by noon. I mean, did you want to walk? I can see TJ's demeanor deflate a little bit as he starts walking back towards me in the car. We can drive. He smiles at me, but I sigh and shove my keys back into my pocket. Nah, we can go for a walk. It'll give us more time to talk anyway. Oh, okay. TJ smiles and waits for me to catch up to him before we start up the road. While I'm not looking forward to trekking back to Janice's house in the heat, I'd rather TJ be in an upbeat mood. We're pretty quiet on the way up. It isn't until we're passing Janice's house that I finally break the silence. Man, why'd you have to say yes? I groan half-teasingly, shoving my shoulder into his, standing and stumbling a little ways into the road. I'm sorry! Is it so hard to say no? Well, yeah, it definitely is. I sigh. It would be fine if we weren't on vacation with friends we might never see again. TJ sulks a bit. Don't say that. It's kinda true. I remember that the trip is already sort of ruined because of Flynn. Anyway, it's not that easy, Chase, especially when she's all smiling and expectant like that. You should stop letting people take advantage of you. TJ stares at the ground. Sorry. And stop apologizing. Didn't we have to stop apologizing talk yesterday already? TJ flattens his ears, and I realized that my tone might have been a bit too harsh. Okay, now I'm sorry, I was mostly joking, but it's frustrating to see you get pushed around. I don't really get pushed around. I ignore him, and get taken advantage of. She doesn't take advantage of me. I mean, she literally does, because we're working for her, and that is, in a way, taking advantage. But, like, why do you think she only asks you for these things? He opens his mouth, but I don't let him answer. Because she knows you'll say yes. That's basically the definition of taking advantage of someone. I nudge him again with my shoulder, but he manages not to fall into the road this time. You gotta be a little more assertive. Stand up for yourself more often. TJ shoves his hands in his pockets. So just say no to people? Not just when it comes to saying no. Stand up to people being mean to you, too. I don't mention Flynn, but I'm pretty sure he knows what I'm getting at. I try to give him an encouraging smile, but he doesn't look at me. It feels great, man. Once you do it once, you can't stop. I mean, that's kind of the problem. You gotta not say no all the time. Because then he's gonna start being a douchebag. Like, yeah, say no when it counts. Say no when you need to. TJ looks away, out into the desert. It sounds like you just want me to be mean to people. Yeah. That's... I mean, not really, but that's kind of what I was saying. I shake my head. You can be nice and assertive at the same time. It's a good combination. TJ's quiet for a few minutes as we start the painful uphill portion of the trek towards Carl's mansion. I do it because I like to do it, you know? I'm starting to pant a little, my short stubby legs already burning. I like to help her out. It feels good. Like it makes you feel better about yourself? It makes me feel better about a lot of things. There's a sudden shift in his tone that cuts me off from saying anything else. It's a tone I'm not used to hearing from him, and I wonder if I went too far with the whole being assertive thing. I feel like there's a whole lot more going on under the surface, but now it doesn't feel like the time to delve into it. I try to think of something else to talk about, to change the subject. Yeah, there's probably something deeper there. I have a feeling we will probably delve into that a little more in the game itself, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. Because I don't know what to say about it. Anyway, maybe the apologizing thing is just part of your heritage? TJ laughs, dispelling the tension easily. Maybe. Well, if you do go back, at least you'll fit in with all the nice people. It's just a stereotype and not all that true. There were mean people in Wasatchua. Not like here, though. TJ nods. Yeah, not like here. We're quiet for a few more minutes, Carl's house promisingly close now. I'm distracted, looking up at it, when suddenly TJ's shoulder, trademark TJ shoulder, checks me right off the road, tripping me over my own feet and into the sagebrush. What the hell? I shout as I lay in the dirt, the dust cloud clearing to reveal that mortified TJ still standing on the side of the road. Oh my gosh, I didn't mean to knock you over, I'm so... He catches himself, though the horrified look is still on his face. I stare up at him for a while, then burst out laughing. I see his tails and ears relax, his floofed out fur laying back down. He smiles, seemingly relieved. You're learning! He rubs his shoulder sheepishly. I guess so. Wait, what happened? Why did he do that? I don't know. We stand a good couple of minutes on Carl's doorstep, ringing the bell door... Bell door? We stand a good couple of minutes on Carl's doorstep, ringing the doorbell over and over. I can hear the heavy beat of some hip-hop song through the door, and ground. I swear, the windows look like they're about to bust out with how much they're shaking. Finally, I send him a text, and that's when the music finally stops and the door swings open. As it does, TJ and I are blasted with a wave of pot, with just a touch of booze lingering underneath. Carl grins at us, his eyes bloodshot and fur messed up. What the fuck took you guys so long to get here? TJ frowns, rubbing his nose inconspicuously. I don't think I've ever seen Carl this far gone. I stare at him as he stares back at us, his grin never wavering. I finally break the silence. Are you okay? Carl suddenly gets a very serious look on his face. Chase. Gravely, he reaches out to put both his paws on my shoulders. I have... He smirks, then sets his face sternly again. Never felt better. He brings me into a hug and whispers fiercely into my ear. I'm so glad you're here. He suddenly shoves me back and whirls on TJ, who cringes. Yeah, it's concerning. Carl goes after him, sweeping him off his feet like Lynx's brand new bride. Carl! Get inside before you get a heat stroke, fluff cheeks. I stand there on the doorstep as Carl takes the cat inside, TJ throwing me a wide-eyed look over the ram's broad shoulder. I stare back, wondering if this was such a good idea, before stepping in. Pot smell aside, the coolness of the mansion is a welcome relief to the quickly rising heat behind me. I'm just in time to see Carl toss TJ onto a two-cushion couch before flopping onto a bigger one across from it. He smiles at me and pats the cushion next to him. I sit down on the last cushion, leaving a space between the two of us. I'm just a little worried about how handy he's being right now. Carl shrugs and kicks up his feet on the cushion between us, tapping me with his hooves. Hooves. Wait, is it hooves or hooves? A lot of little pronunciation quirks that I'm suddenly thinking about when reading these visual novels. Okay, well if I'm British then it's hooves, apparently, according to Google. But then according to Cambridge, they're both just hooves.
Hooves.
No? It says hooves in the text IPA pronunciation thing, but then he says hooves. So it's both. It's both. We sit there for an agonizingly awkward 10 seconds before TJ clears his throat. So, Carl, how have you been? Carl rolls his head on his shoulders to snap his gaze in the direction of TJ, who gulps. TJ, I've just been peachy. You get me? TJ's ears twitch. Yes? Super. Supery. Carl giggles quietly to himself. Okay. He stares at the ceiling for a while, continuing to tap me with his hooves. I look down and see that they're leaving hoof-shaped prints of white dust on my pants. Man, I'm glad you guys are here. I thought I was gonna go crazy. How come? Carl interlocks his fingers behind his head. This house, man. You go crazy in it when no one's around. Flynn spent the night, but then he had to go to work. TJ seems to have run out of things to say, leaning back on the couch as his tail twitches around nervously. Carl doesn't seem to mind, though, staring peacefully at the ceiling. I exchange glances with TJ, who shrugs weirdly at me. Yeah, that's kind of how weed is, from what I've heard. It makes you less worried about things when you're on it, but then when you're not on it, then you get some withdrawals, and it's not fun. And then it's only fun when you're on weed, and then it's it's not very healthy. I exchange glances with TJ, who shrugs weirdly at me. I can never remember if I read the line that's on screen when I start talking about something else. I look at the massive flat screen. You want to watch something? Carl flicks his eyes to the TV. Have you seen the new Luce Lobo movie? I have to think about that. Not since last summer, I think. I haven't. It's the fucking shit, dudes! Yeah, he's shirtless in it, apparently. The whole time. So I believe you. Carl sticks his legs in the air, swiveling on his butt before launching himself off the couch to land on his hooves awkwardly. He stumbles, falling into TJ's couch. The lynx tries to steady him, but the ram is off before he can, grabbing their remote. Suddenly, he spins around and tosses his phone at me, and I have to lunge to catch it. Chase! Please order us a goddamn pizza. I'm starving. What? I stare at his phone. He sighs loudly at me. The Giano's app, duh. It takes me a second to find it in the sea of random game apps. Oh, so, what do you guys want? I'll shove anything from Giano's into my fat face. I stare at him. So order anything. Okay. I end up letting TJ pick the toppings since he's got that special dietary where he can't eat gluten. Once I've ordered the extra large pizza, Carl's already started up the movie. I didn't know anyone delivered out here. Carl sits down with a beer in his hand, and I wonder if I should tell him not to drink anymore. Honestly, I don't know if the way he's acting is more due to the pot or the drink. It's probably just a combination of the both. The chillness from the weed and the weirdness from the drink, maybe. He grins. That's what's so great about Giano's. They'll deliver anywhere if you pay. That would be so awesome if I lived in, like, Antarctica or somewhere. I could just order from Giano's. They'd come. If I pay, like, 100k or something. That would probably be, like, a YouTuber video idea. For some, like, Mr. Beast clone. He takes a swig and belches. Price of delivery is the same as the fucking pizza, though. He stares at me before pointing at his beer. You want one? I glance at TJ, who's staring hard at the screen. Maybe I'll have one with the pizza. Me and TJ have some yard work to do for Janice. Carl wrinkles his nose. Lame. Do you want to go with us, Carl? Carl thinks, then gives a massive shrug. I can tag along. Might not be able to do any real work, though. He pats his stomach. Swear to God, I'll hurl. That's fine. TJ smiles, but Carl seems to be watching the movie now, which is already a few minutes into the intro. The pizza doesn't arrive for another hour, and when it finally does, the slices are almost room temperature. Still, with the pizza, beer, and a movie, I start to kind of enjoy myself. By the end of it, Carl seems to have sobered up a little bit. Not a whole bunch, but to the point where he's at least coherent. He turns off the TV and sighs. Wait, hold on. In like an hour? That's impressive, I guess? Flat on his back on the couch at this point, his fetlocks across my lap. Another word, I have no idea what it means. Fetlocks. No, not Osu, I don't... Not now.
Click the circles.
No, I will not. Oh, it's the joint of a horse's or other quadruped's leg between the cannon bone and the pastern. I don't know where the cannon bone and the pastern are, but is it like the ankle, basically? Yeah, I guess it's like the equivalent of ankle. I'm fucking stuffed. I agree, and now I'm feeling even less inclined to go over to Janice's place. TJ's pulled out his phone, and now he's staring at it with his ears lowered. Is he gonna say no? I'm about to ask him what's wrong, but that's when Carl nudges me with his leg. Hey, you guys want to play a game? I look at him cautiously. What kind of game? Carl looks around, then finds the row of 3 bottles on the ground next to the couch. 2 of them empty, 1 half empty. Oh god. If it's a drinking game, maybe not now. Never have I ever. Okay. TJ gives a nervous laugh. But Carl, I don't drink. Give it a try. This is when you have the opportunity to try saying no, TJ. I frown, giving Carl a look. Or we could just do 10 fingers. You don't have to drink for that one. Carl pouts. Wow, you're boring as hell today, Chase. Alright, we'll do both. You guys can do the 10 fingers bullshit. He struggles to sit up, burping again while he does. So then will you lose if you take 10 drinks? He leans over with a groan and picks up his beer. Okay, I'll go first. I hold up 10 fingers and TJ does the same, somewhat reluctantly. Never have I ever... Carl seems to think hard, then grins. That sticks! TJ's ears flatten, and I glare at Carl. Really? We're going there already? Carl shrugs. What? That's the first question everyone asks. I lower a finger, still glaring. I still have... You know what? I'm gonna play along. And I still have 10 of my fingers. Wait. I just say I still have. Do I have to cut them off? If I... Let's not make that a rule. I'm just gonna put him down. I'll just have my fingers raised up while also pressing the controller with them. Isn't this game about getting to know things about people that you don't already know about? I look over at TJ, not surprised to see all of his fingers still up, though he's still blushing. I'm surprised you haven't, though. You've had girlfriends. Carl sneers at me. Turns out having to lift my own guts so they can suck me off turns them off. Never gone past that. Well, you need to get better girlfriends. So they still sucked you off. Blowjobs don't count. Yes, they do. Yeah, they do. It's called oral sex. Nah, man. I suddenly become very aware of a beet red link sitting across from us. I cough loudly and sit up straight, trying to think of something that's interesting but still G-rated for TJ. Never have I ever been in a fight. A physical fight, I mean. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think I've ever been in a real fight. Carl takes a drink. TJ's fingers stay up. Who'd you fight? The fuck have you been? Remember Clint? Oh yeah. TJ starts to lower his finger too, then stops. Well, he mostly attacked us. We didn't really fight back, so it's not really a fight. What? What? I'm gonna say, what the heck is that choice? Grab him by the neck, throw him to the ground, or kick him if he tries to get back up. What? Are these fight options? What? To the flashback of the fight? I did... grab him by the neck, I guess? Carl shrugs. Me and Flynn have gotten into it before. Well, you already took a drink, so... I look over at TJ. Your turn. What the... So I just got that choice and nothing happened. Okay. TJ looks off to the side, seeming to think hard. Never have I ever failed a test. Well, yeah, I just failed a test, actually. I mean, I failed several in my life, obviously, but, like, this was the first, I think, school-related one that I actually failed. That I remember. This is my driving theory test. It was the actual... We had, like, practice tests for it that were pretty much like the real thing, but they were, like, way easier than the actual thing. So I had to do it again, but then I actually passed it. Thankfully. So I have 9 fingers now. Up. TJ grins. I lower a finger, smirking, but Carl lets out a snort. Cute. The amount of disdain in his voice has me looking over at him, but he's already chugging down his beer. His burp seems to shake the couch. Has TJ never... never failed a test, ever? Alright, never have I ever kissed a dude. Carl! What? I've never actually seen you kiss Leo, so... Oh wait, maybe I have. Meh. He shrugs again. I lower a finger, rolling my eyes. I don't have to lower anything. TJ, of course, doesn't. As I'm trying to think of my own question, I suddenly feel something warm pressed against the side of my face. I blanch away out of instinct and turn to find Carl with his eyes closed and lips puckered. Carl! TJ sits on his couch, his face a portrait of comically cartoonish shock. Alright, now I have. Carl takes a big gulp of beer. Cool. I'm not sure how to react, but TJ's reaction is enough to make the whole thing seem funny, instead of like sexual harassment. I mean, you can't do it after the question's been asked, right? Carl puts his chin on a fist, flirting his eyes in a way he probably thinks is seductive. You can look it up if you want. I shake my head, wiping the side of my face as I try to think. Never have I ever flown in an airplane. Carl and TJ both lower a finger. I still have 9. Up. Really? That's crazy. I shrug. Hardly ever been out of the state in my life. Yeah, same. The state of Finland, I mean. The only time was, Sweden when I was a baby, and that's it. That's tragic. Kind of is. Yeah, I'm poor, okay? I don't get to go on big travel trips. Or my family is poor, rather. I'm poor as well because I don't have a job, but my family specifically being poor is the reason why I've never gone anywhere besides Sweden, which was on a boat, obviously. And so it goes. The game continues for another 20 minutes, most of the questions innocent enough. Still, I noticed that every time TJ takes his turn, Carl gets more and more agitated. Never have I ever done drugs, never have I ever been late to class, never have I ever gotten less than an A- in a class. TJ, come on. Also, wait, less than an A-? Are you kidding me? Is school really that easy in America? I don't think it is. I think I've heard it's easier in Canada to get, like, higher grades. But, like, what? I think most people here would say, like, I'm a very academic person, like, I get very good grades, but I've gotten tons of grades lower than what would be an A- in America. Still, I can tell that TJ's directing it mostly at me. Oh, really? Never have I ever done drugs? Are you sure? Partly because he's being mischievous, and partly because I think he's genuinely trying to figure me out. Okay. Carl's mood continues to sour though, and it all seems to build until the 6th round. Never have I ever been in a car accident. I lower a finger. You've crashed before? Okay, I don't have to lower a finger, but yeah. I mock glare at him. Why do you automatically assume it was my fault? Oh, sorry, I mean, my dad was driving and we got rear-ended. Oh. That's when I noticed that Carl hasn't spoken at all since the question was asked. Well, it was kind of just asked. He hasn't really had a chance to speak, but yeah, I can see that being a problematic question to think about. I look over at him and see that he's got the bottle resting on his knee as he watches TJ. I lean over to poke at him. You okay? He glances at me before turning back to TJ. You knew I'd been in an accident. TJ looks at Carl, confused. I did? Yeah, I told you at the motel when you first got here. Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, okay. TJ continues to look confused. TJ, are you really that confused? I mean, you've been directing these questions towards Chase, I guess, but they've been, like, suspiciously Carl-oriented as well. Carl stares at his lap for a while, and I start to wonder if the game is over. Then he looks up and stares at TJ, rubbing his chin. He seems to be thinking hard. Never have I ever... We wait. Carl smiles. Never have I ever killed someone. What follows is dead silence. Well, thank God I don't have to lower a finger. Yeah, he totally wasn't directing it at TJ. You see now, TJ? Carl stares straight at TJ, still with a smile on his face. TJ still looks confused. That's a weird thing to say. Ain't it? TJ freezes up, as if ice-cold water had been dumped over his head. I look at Carl slowly, but he's not looking at me at all. TJ's clenched paws rest in his lap, his face expressionless, almost, as we both realize what Carl's getting at. We sit in that silence for what feels like almost a minute. Carl finally breaks the frozen portrait that we're all in, leaning back into the back of the couch. You know, my life has been going downhill since that happened. TJ and I don't say anything, both of us watching Carl. School, grades, drugs, whatever. I don't know, seems like it all started after whatever it was that happened. Carl looks pointedly at TJ again. Carl, my voice comes out shocked and bewildered. That seems to get through to him a little bit, his long ears flicking down briefly. TJ continues to stare back at him, and I'm reminded of how he looked when Flynn was having a go at him. Carl finally looks down, away from TJ. So, I was in the crawl space the other day, and I found an old letter from Sydney. I don't say anything, neither does TJ. Carl waits a while, then goes on. I haven't opened it. It said it was a treasure hunt on the front. A treasure hunt? Sydney absolutely loved treasure hunts. He was always making them in his spare time. Okay, are we gonna go on a treasure hunt? Yay! They were usually pretty bad, and the prizes at the end were always pretty awful. It would always take some convincing on his part to get us to go on one. I don't know why I haven't, but it's made me... Carl stops talking and closes his eyes, pressing himself deeper into the soft cushions of the couch. Maybe if we knew what happened, we could fix some of our problems. TJ finally stands up, and Carl's eyes snap open when he does. I watch him too, having no idea what he's about to do. Because of the look on his face, I wonder if he's about to actually do something violent, attack Carl or something. His expression is dark, not like I've ever seen him, even when Flynn was yelling at him. Instead, though, he just stands there for a few moments, staring at Carl. Carl looks away again, his ears lowered. Self-improvement starts with realizing what the actual problem is, Carl. That didn't sound like TJ at all, not even the voice. Carl seems shocked as well as he finally looks up at the Lynx. Stop blaming others and start blaming yourself. His voice is calm and smooth, but ice cold. TJ turns on his heel and stalks toward the door, his fur fluffed out. I finally snap out of it and stand up as TJ opens the door. I take one last look at Carl as he's slumped on the couch, his head down. I'll call you later, okay, Carl? Carl doesn't say anything. So with that, I hurry out the door that TJ left open. I catch up to the Lynx about 100 yards down the road, trying to match his brisk pace. It's late afternoon at this point, and the heat hits me like a ton of bricks. Sweat already threatens to drip off my chin as I approach TJ. He slows down when he hears me panting, letting me catch up. We walk in silence for a good 15 minutes, and I almost jump when TJ finally speaks up. Can you believe he did that? I take a few deep breaths, gathering the time I need to form a response. I mean, kinda, yeah. I think he was just really high and drunk. TJ shakes his head. He knew what he was saying. Sure, but his inhibitions are down. TJ isn't as upset as I thought he would be. At least not in the way I thought he would be. Instead, he seems more angry than anything. I think it's because he's been talking to Flynn. Who knows what he's been saying to him? That could definitely be the case. TJ finally sighs and stares at the ground, his ears falling. I can tell he's about to finally start crying, so I quickly put my arm around his shoulders. Hey, it's okay. He was seriously drunker than I've ever seen him. He's not gonna remember any of this. But TJ is. He doesn't look up. TJ, you are a huge reason why we're all stuck here together at this point. That we know. TJ, you're a huge reason why we've all stuck together at this point. TJ doesn't say anything, and I see his eyes watering up. I could be making it worse, but I give his shoulder another squeeze. You're the glue, and like you said, Carl's blaming his own problems on everyone else. This has nothing to do with you. TJ sighs, leaning against me a little. I take this as a good sign and nudge him. Listen, let's get to Janice's place and get those chores out of the way. After that, we can get some ice cream at Ray's, okay? Alright. TJ lets out a small laugh, and we continue down the road for another 10 feet like that. Then he suddenly pulls away from me, faces me, and hugs me tight. He buries his face in my chest as I feel his fingers clench in the back of my shirt. He holds me like that for a long time. Oh, I thought we would get a CG, but nope. Not the moment for one, yet, at least. We get to Janice's house a good half an hour later, me covered in sweat, TJ airing out a shirt. It's 5 at this point, but the sun is still pounding down on the back of my head like a lead weight. Janice opens the door almost the second we knock, and I can tell immediately that something's off. First of all, she's got no pants on. I catch a glimpse of her large white panties before I snap my eyes back up, staring hard at the coyote's face. I can't see TJ, but by the funny way he's breathing, I'm pretty sure he's noticed as well. Janice spreads out her hands, grinning. Well, LB, you made it! We gawk at her for another few seconds before TJ finally squeaks out. Yeah, of course. Janice suddenly steps forward towards Lynx and cups his face in her hands. I keep my eyes up, trying to focus on her face. She squishes TJ's face to the point where his lips purse out a little bit. I'm starting to think Janice isn't in the most mentally stable state currently. She might be in Texas, in fact, which is the most mentally unstable state. I'm only half joking because the people there are, well, people, so they're all different. But like, oh my god, that fucking furries act that has been floating around in Texas for what I remember. It's just concerning. Anyway, you, TJ, are a lifesaver. You know that? She says it sincerely, and I can see TJ trying to pull back. Unfortunately, it also looks like the coyote has a good grip on his face, because everything but his head moves back. Thank you, Janice. TJ tries to speak from his squashed face. Janice, what did you want us to do today? I break in, hoping to move her attention away from ripping TJ's cheeks off. She seems to really be enjoying the tufts of fur there. Oh, Chase, you're here too? Yeah, we're gonna work on it together. Well, alright. How about I head out there and show you two? My eyes flick down to her bottom half for just a second, and I immediately regret it. There's no way around it. You wanna get dressed first? Janice looks down. Oh, that. Well, I've just got to apologize now. I was in the middle of getting ready for work. I just forgot what I was doing. I glanced at TJ, then quickly back to the coyote. Oh, well, we can wait. Nonsense, it'll only take a sec. I'm left open-mouthed, following the coyote automatically as TJ follows closely behind me. A quick glance around reassures me that there isn't anyone around at the moment, but if someone does come around... Janice marches us out to the back, to the few wooden remnants of the shed we'd moved earlier. She points at the ground. I want you two to dig a hole right here. TJ stays just slightly behind me, as if using me as a shield to Janice's shameless immodesty. A hole? Yeah, in a rectangle, from here to here. Why does she sound like Carl now? No. Why am I making her sound like Carl? I don't like that. Janice marks a line in the dirt with her foot before walking about 5 feet in the other direction and marking another line. And 3 feet wide, at least 3 feet deep, if not more. I nod through her instructions, just trying to get through this as quickly as possible. Okay, what are we doing this for? Janice stops, scratching the back of her head. A pool. Gonna have a pool back here. A pool? Yeah, a nice little pool. She grins at us, and I quickly nod at her. Okay, we'll get right to work. Shovel's in the garage, right? I'm doing everything I can to get her back inside. Yeah? Need anything else? I can make you lemonade before I leave. No, we'll just get water if we need it. Well, alright. No need to finish it today if you can. I know how hot it is. Janice turns to leave, but not before reaching out and pinching TJ's cheek almost viciously. He squints his eyes, ears flattening as he just stands there and takes it. And with that, she hums her way back to the house. Yeah, that's a... I wait until I hear the door close. So she's kind of just treating TJ like a cute little kid, and then she's in her panties. I mean, she is like probably twice their age. Oh my god, she's gone insane. TJ stays quiet, staring at the spot on the ground that Janice marked out. Seriously, maybe we should go. No, she's probably just having another off day or something. I shake my head. And this is definitely not a pool. TJ kicks at the dirt, and I shiver as I see a small spider skitter across the ground. Either she's lost it and we're doing nothing here, or we're digging a grave. Oh, come on, Chase. This was a bad idea. I hear the garage door opening and shut my mouth. A car engine starts up, and then I see an old rusty white sedan pull out the driveway. Oh, she's gonna make TJ for a chase. That's nice. Janice waves at us and blows a kiss, which I'm pretty sure is directed at TJ, or she's gonna run over TJ and make me bury him. But maybe the other way around will be a lot more logical since TJ's more agreeable. Then she peels off like she's drag racing to the diner that's less than a mile away. So who do you think she's on her way to murder? Stop. I look back at TJ. You think she even put her pants on? TJ shudders and looks back at the ground. Let's just get this done. Then I promise I won't do any more chores for her, okay? I sigh. Alright, just remember whose fault this is if it ends up being our grave. The work is tougher than I thought it would be. We both started opposite ends of the little trench thing we're making. Janice said we should do more than 3 feet if we could, but if this whole thing is bullshit, which I'm sure it is, then I'm not doing any more than the minimum. I'm at least glad to see TJ returning back to his cheerful, bubbly self. We even almost get into a dirt-clad war, but that comes to a quick end when I hit TJ in the thigh with a rock-filled one. About 2 hours later, the sun is comfortably low, and we're a little over halfway done. It's at that point that I get a text message from Carl. I take a quick glance at my phone, seeing a one-word apology of sorry. I look at it for a while until TJ finally appears up. Everything okay? I debate whether or not to tell him now that he's in such a good mood. It's hard to tell exactly what will make TJ feel better or worse, I've come to realize. Still, I think he can tell who it's probably from already, judging by how slanted back his ears are. It's from Carl. Just says sorry. TJ stops digging, pressing his shovel into the darker, moist dirt at the bottom of the trench. That's it? That's it? Are you going to respond? I don't know. Should I? I mean, I'm not the one he's supposed to be apologizing to, but, I mean, I don't even know if TJ has a phone. We haven't seen him look at it at any point, I think. TJ starts digging again. Yeah. TJ tilts his head down. I need to apologize too. Now that seems more like TJ. Well, what should I say? TJ stops digging again and looks up at me. I look up at him expectantly. Okay, so I'm trying to be more assertive, like you said. Oh? I didn't expect him to say that. Why not? He has been turbulent. Or particularly assertive, but like, he was kind of assertive when he was talking to Carl. Is that why... TJ looks down, so I stop myself. Is that why he'd acted so strange at Carl's mansion? Sorry, never mind, what were you saying? So I'm just going to say this. I was thinking about that treasure hunt Carl found. For a moment, I don't know what he's talking about. Oh, the thing he found in the crawl space? I was thinking. TJ leans on the shovel's handle, looking away. So, oh, right. I'm just not realizing that's probably why he was so, disheveled. Carl, I mean. Like, everything was kind of already bad with the way things happened with Flynn at the lake. Or the river, not just like a quarter mile from the lake. And then he found a letter from Sydney in the crawl space. So probably not like the happiest combination of events. Thinking that we should open it together. Okay. I say it slowly, realizing how delicate of a topic this is. Is there a reason why you want to open it? TJ sighs deeply, looking up at the deep red and orange sky. I always feel like things happen for a reason, and we were just talking about finding closure yesterday. Okay. So I feel like this might be a way to do it, maybe? Read what he had to say. Maybe go on one of his last hunts. TJ swallows hard. I can sort of see where he's coming from. Sydney always wrote stupid riddles and stories with his treasure hunts. It might mean something to read something he wrote so long ago. Okay. I keep coming up short with what I want to say. Again, I can see why TJ might think this is the answer, but I'm not so sure. Well, I guess I can ask Carl about it. Did you want everyone there? Maybe just us. We can let the others read it later if they want. I don't think Flynn. I nod quickly. Yeah, that makes sense. So, you, want to do that tomorrow? See if we can do it tonight. We've only got a few days left, and this is making me nervous. TJ gives a tight laugh. Yeah, Sydney's treasure hunts could be pretty elaborate. Oh yeah, definitely. Are we starting to be able to talk about him normally again? Maybe TJ is right about this. Okay, I'll text him back and ask if I can call him. Okay. It takes me a little bit to figure out how to word TJ's request. Hey man, can TJ and I come over and talk? While we wait for Carl's response, TJ abruptly looks back up at me. Are you and Carl, friendly with each other? Why wouldn't we be? Huh? I mean, how he kissed you. Oh. What? No! I laugh. That was just Carl being drunk. Okay. TJ goes back to digging, his ears switching around. I grin. What, are you jealous? Nope! He says it way too fast and loud. Hey, if you want to give me a kiss, I don't mind. TJ doesn't respond, instead focusing hard on the ground he's digging up. If you're shy, I can do it instead. I see his eyes widen, but he still doesn't say anything. I make kissy sounds at him, and that's when he flings some dirt up at me, spattering my pants with dark brown spots. Oh, come on. I see TJ smirk as he goes right back to work. I'm thinking about picking up another dirt clod, but that's when my phone buzzes again. Okay. We walk slowly up the length of Carl's driveway, our shadows covering its entire length in the light of the sunset. TJ is starting to drag his feet again as we get closer to the door, and I stop to look back at him. You okay? Yeah, I'm good. You sure? We don't have to do this today. We can come by tomorrow. TJ shakes his head, taking a swig of water from a water bottle we'd bought from the convenience store on the way here. No, I'm just a little tired. It's been a long day. Yeah, 1 hour and 15 minutes. That's not a very long day. In this game, it kind of is. I wait for TJ to catch up, then match his stride as we make our way up the sidewalk, then up the steps to the door. TJ doesn't do anything, instead just gripping into his water bottle, making the plastic creak. I wait for another second, then reach out across TJ to press the doorbell. The faint, fancy chime emanates from behind the door for a few seconds, followed by the clapping of Carl's hooves on the wooden floor. There's a pause once he reaches the door, and I imagine him hesitating as he reaches for the door handle. A second later, though, it swings open, revealing a very bleary, red-eyed ram. Aww. Carl blinks at us a few times through the bright orange sun behind us. Finally, he steps aside, opening the door wider. Hey, guys. There's a pause as I wait to see if TJ will say anything. When he doesn't, I clear my throat and step forward through the door. Hey, man. You okay? Not really. I don't say anything in return, instead spreading my arms out in the cool air of the mansion. I turn around and wait as TJ steps through the doorway, the links framed by the golden sunlight, the fine hairs of his fur lit up like white-hot wires. I see Carl's hand that's not on the door sort of twitch, like he's grabbing something in the air. Hey. TJ stands next to me, looking back at Carl. Hello. Carl vigorously rubs at his arm. Is this supposed to be like Carl vigorously rubs at his arm? Maybe. Listen. Carl pauses. I get the idea that he's wanting TJ to tell him that everything's okay so that he doesn't have to explain anything. That would definitely make things easier. But he doesn't say anything, just watches the ram. Well, yeah, at this point, I don't think easiness is the goal. Or that it should be the goal, at least. Carl rubs behind his head for a second, looking back out the door. I'm not sure why it's so hard for him to apologize to TJ. I just thought it was weird that Carl had apologized to me instead of Lynx in the first place. Listen. Carl takes in a big shuddery breath, blowing it out loudly. I was really messed up earlier. I wasn't thinking right. TJ continues to watch Carl silently. His ears are up, at least. Carl stutters and stumbles over a few more syllables before he continues. And I just wasn't thinking straight. He scuffed the hardwood floor loudly with a hoof. And I don't think you did anything like that, I was just pissed off. TJ is quiet for a few more seconds, but Carl doesn't offer anything more. So, why were you angry? Carl sighs, then leans his head back against the door, his horns knocking loudly against it. You said some shit that I'm ass hurt about, okay? It wasn't your fault. TJ folds his arms, looking down. Well, what was it I said? Carl shakes his head. Stupid shit. I mean, stupid because of me. Stuff about school, car accidents, just brought old stuff up for me. Oh, but I don't think you ever did anything, like I said. I was just being a huge dick. Sorry. His voice breaks a little at the end, and he quickly looks at the floor, his ears down. TJ is again quiet. I think about changing the subject now that the apology's out of the way, but TJ speaks first. Thanks, Carl. And I'm sorry I brought stuff up like that. I'll try to remember in the future. Carl shakes his head, looking back up. Not your fault. We stand there awkwardly for a few more seconds. I guess I thought maybe Flynn had been saying stuff to you. That was why you said it. Huh? Oh. Carl's non-denial hangs heavy in the air. I haven't seen Flynn in days, and I am wondering what he's been up to in that time. I'll have to ask Carl when TJ isn't around. As of now, though, I want to change the subject because things are getting awkward. So, TJ had an idea about the scavenger hunt thing. Carl looks at me as if just now realizing that I'm there. Scavenger hunt? Oh yeah, the treasure hunt. TJ scratches his arm, looking embarrassed. Sydney's treasure hunt? TJ scratches hard at his arm, looking more and more flustered, so I jump in. Yeah, we were thinking about actually doing it to maybe find some closure. Carl frowns. Really? TJ stops scratching at his arm, his ears coming back up. Yeah. I believe things happen for a reason. That you found it now while we're all here means something, I think. Man, I mean, it's really old. You even think any of that stuff would be out there right now? Maybe, but I guess I'm not really looking to find anything. It's like a thing we can do while we remember him. I think it's a good way to find closure. I try to back TJ up under Carl's somewhat bewildered stare. The Ram strokes his chin. I guess that sort of makes sense. I mean, if you're okay with doing it. TJ squares his stance, looking up. I have. It's been so long feeling this way. I feel like this might be our last chance to do something. Carl looks over at me. I nod, indicating I feel the same way. I don't fully understand this new direction in TJ either, but I sure as hell supported him. Well, okay then. I'll go grab it. You want to just open it now? Let's go to the motel or something with Jenna there too. Okay. Carl finally shuts the door before making his way to the stairs. TJ seems to deflate then, his shoulders hunching back in. It wasn't so bad, I mumble to him once I think Carl's out of earshot. Yeah, it was okay. We stand there awkwardly as we wait. The whole situation is so strange. Carl comes back with a crumpled-looking white envelope in his hands. TJ eyes it, the fur standing up on the back of his neck. So, you dudes want to drive back to the motel, or... Actually, we didn't drive. Carl drops his hands to his sides. Are you freaking serious? I can't walk in that heat. TJ did. And I did, also. Seems like it's more of a problem for me. I tug up some of the fur on the lynx's neck to show Carl. TJ actually jumps a bit, and I quickly let go. I want to ask him what's wrong, but Carl keeps talking. Man, I'm gonna smell like shit once we get there. Sun's almost gone anyway. Carl smirks at me. I sweat walking in the winter time. You can take a shower at the motel. Carl blows his breath out loudly, frowning. Okay, but I'm gonna put on more deodorant before we go. The walk back isn't so bad. Carl makes it out to be a lot worse than it is, with all his gasping and wiping his face constantly. TJ gets a text from Jenna to meet at the diner instead of motel, since she's going there for dinner anyway. Once we walk in, Carl lets out a gasping groan of relief that turns a few heads. Jenna looks up from a corner booth and waves at us. I wave back and start making my way over. Go to the bathroom, gotta wipe my pits. TJ makes a sour face as he follows me to the table. Jenna scoots in so we can slide in next to her. So, what's all this about? Carl found a treasure hunt that Sydney made. Jenna toys with her brown leather purse, staring at it. Okay, like a map or something? A letter. What are you going to do with it? Well, I look over at TJ, but he doesn't say anything, instead looking out the window at the sunset. We're thinking about doing it. You're thinking about going on the treasure hunt? Yeah. I mean... Jenna pauses, clearly trying to choose her words carefully. I mean, would there be anything left of it at this point? It would have to be at least 11 years old by now. Jenna looks over at TJ, studying his reaction. He doesn't give her anything, though, still staring at the window. I spread my hands out on the table, instantly regretting it as I feel the grease slide around under the pants. We're seeing it more as a closure sort of thing, a send-off. We're not really expecting to find something. TJ finally looks back at us. He made it for us, so I feel like we should do it. For him. Jenna stares back down at her purse. I guess Flynn won't be involved? No. And Leo? He's going to be busy for most of the week. I don't think he'd really want to, anyway. Why not? Now TJ looks like he's trying to choose his words carefully. He pretends like it never happened. I don't want to bring it back up for him. No one says anything else until Carl shows back up, the fur on his head and face a little wet. Hey, Jenna. Carl? Jenna nods at him as he sits across from me. He reaches across the table, snatching up a menu from the metal holder in the center. I'll pay if anyone wants something. Jenna curls a lip in disgust, but I'm starving, so I start browsing the menu as well. Why is that disgusting, Jenna? We're at a diner. TJ goes back to staring out the window, and I can see his ears swishing around. So, where's this treasure hunt thing? Carl looks up and sees that Jenna's staring at him. Huh? Oh, I have it. I'm gonna order real quick, though, if Chase is ready. I nod, and Carl waves his menu at Janice, who quickly bustles our way with a tray of glasses of water. She's wearing pants now, but there's definitely still something off about her. Her eyes are wide, her smile more like a grimace as she sets down her glasses and straws. She takes her orders well enough, though, and Jenna waits patiently as Carl and I order a meal, and TJ gets a smoothie. Carl methodically tears off one end of the wrapper off his straw, before he blows on the other end, shooting the rest of the wrapper at me. I flinch and try to catch it, failing as it falls to the floor. Jenna clears her throat loudly. So, where is it? Carl looks at her, the straw still in his mouth. Huh? Oh, right. Carl reaches into his pocket, then pulls out the envelope. He pushes onto the table, face up. There's writing in black marker on the front. Treasure hunt number 7. We all stare at it. Should I read it? Carl sits a hand down with the letter. Or someone else. Carl's eyes briefly flick over to TJ, then quickly look back down at the letter. TJ's hand comes up, then surreptitiously scratches at an ear before letting it fall back into his lap. It does seem appropriate that TJ open it, but if he doesn't want to. Carl looks just as hesitant, so I finally reach out and gently slide it out from under his hand. I can read it. No one objects, so I open it carefully, not wanting to rip anything as I pry the adhesive apart. A chill goes up my spine for some reason. Oh god. Was this a mistake? A strange, surreal vision comes to my mind's eye, of inky blackness leaking out of the envelope, spilling slowly across the table. I can feel it too, like a cold draft is wafting from inside. I pause, feeling an emptiness in my chest. I mean, the letter's been in the crawl space, apparently, for like years, so this could be a little coldness coming out of it or something. Who knows what microbes have gotten in there as well. The hell? I give my head a small shake, breaking out of the trance. I guess it's only natural I feel this way. That's Sydney's handwriting on a letter sealed after he licked it. He loved making these treasure hunts. It's really sad, so it makes sense that I'd feel this sudden drop in mood. I swallow as I continue to pry it open, the feeling getting worse and worse as I do. You know, for a second I was actually thinking maybe it is just reasonable here. But like, the more that he's talking about it being reasonable, the more I'm like, is it something weird happening? When it's finally fully open, the feeling slowly subsides. Tension in the air seems to melt away too, like the whole town just let out a sigh of relief. I look up for a moment at the others, wondering if they're feeling the same way. It's hard to tell as they're all looking intently down at my hands. I quickly look down again and stick my fingers inside, feeling a piece of paper catch on a pad. Gently, I press down on it and slowly slide it from the envelope. It's bright white copy paper, folded once in half. It's been creased so long that it's starting to part at the fold, in the middle part so that the edges are barely holding it together. Black blotches bleed through the paper, probably written with the same thick marker that was used for the envelope. I gently unfold it, not wanting to rip her apart more than it already has been. The big blocky black letters are sloppy and childish. I mean, yeah, I would assume. Even though it's only a few sentences, it covers the entire page. The last few words trail off into a tiny, almost illegible scrawl. It droops off down the side of the paper as Sydney realized he'd ran out of the room at the end. Okay, I clear my throat, then start reading aloud. Welcome to treasure hunt number 7. Factorial. So 5040? Welcome to treasure hunt number 5040. This is the biggest one so far, and it took a long time. I gotta check if that was right. Speed crunch. 7. Yes, it's 5040. I got it right. I'm so good at maths, guys, even though it took me like a minute. So no cheating this time. I'm talking about you, Carl and Chase. No skipping steps. First clue. These things fly really high. It's in their home with my comb. Chase, you don't have to do this one. I know you hate it. You'll see if you figure it out. Okay. Okay. Good luck, guys. Sid. I feel my throat close up just a little as I stare down at his name. He always wanted to go by Sid, but it never stuck, so none of us ever did. It just didn't suit him. I look back up at the others. Carl is still staring at the paper, and TJ is looking out the window again. Jenna has a hand up to her mouth, staring as well. Wow. Then she wipes at her eyes, and I look away. I guess I never really thought about how this might affect Jenna. She and Sydney never really got along because of the way he treated TJ. But still, he was just a kid, like the rest of us. Carl lets out a ragged cough. That whole cheating thing was totally you, Chase, not me. I look up at Carl, raising a brow. You're the one that told me to do it. Carl smirks. And you're the one that did it. What did you do? TJ asked quietly from his corner, finally looking away from the window. Well, Sydney liked to reuse certain hiding spots. I mean, there were only so many places you could use. Yeah, and Chase went straight to Sydney's mailbox and wrote the whole thing like a boss. I was like 8. Turns out it was the last one, and he got the prize. Carl makes finger quotes around the last word. Yeah, one of those plastic clapper things we used to get in elementary school for reading a lot. He was so mad. Yeah. I remember dropping it on the ground because of how lame it was. I also remember Sydney crying, but I'm not gonna bring that up. Carl seems to have at least lightened the mood, though, and Janice stopped wiping out her eyes. I'm starting to think TJ was right about this whole closure thing. I know where he's talking about for this one, though. I tapped the paper with a finger. Yeah, it's the birdhouse. Birdhouse? Where's that? The forest. TJ sits up straighter, ears up as well. The birdhouse is on one of the trees close to the road. Oh, well, I never went in there because of all the stuff that would get in my fur. TJ looks back out the window, the sun gone now, though the clouds in the sky are still tinged red. You guys want to do it tonight? Really? It's getting kinda late, and we still gotta eat. Carl looks eagerly over at the front counter, through the small rectangle that lead to the kitchen. We can use Chase's car. Besides, it might be kinda fun in the dark. TJ adds the last bit meekly. Hell no. As long as you guys know where it is, it shouldn't be a problem. I gently fold the letter back up and start tucking it back into the envelope. What did he mean by saying you didn't have to do that one, Chase? I look up at TJ, then back down at the letter as I gently press the lid of the envelope closed. I thought I saw something and got scared one time. It was a long time ago, though. At least that's what I think he was talking about. Jenna clears her throat, seeming to have collected herself. I think I remember that. My parents told me about it. I frown. Really? I didn't like the idea of that. What did you see? I shrug. A person in the trees. A hanging person. Oh. TJ shudders. So hell fucking knows I go in there tonight then. Sorry for the afterward, Tej. It's fine, I saw a lot of things as a kid. I'm not going to tell them how I'm definitely still scared of that place. Besides, TJ looks really eager to start this, so I'm not going to ruin it for him. But really, that's not what's bothering me right now. I look down at my hands as I try to work out a timeline in my head. When was it that incident happened in the forest? I thought I'd been 10 at the time, since that was when I started going to a psychiatrist. And I'd started going because of that. But that would be impossible, because Sydney was dead? Have we talked about when Sydney died? I don't think we have. Or no, we have. It was like 11 years ago? I think that's kind of what we've been implying. Most of them were, I think, 17 in 2008, since that's when Route 65 takes place. So now it's 2015, which is 7 years later, so there's 24. So 11 years ago would have been when they were 13. Well, I guess we'll hear the reason later then, maybe. Also, I just now registered that Jay saw a person hanging when he was 10. Yeah, I mean, good thing he went to a psychiatrist. Here we are. A plate with a massive burger and steak fries lands in front of my face. The big coyote sets a smoothie down for TJ, and an even bigger veggie burger down for Carl. Hey Janice, is Julian working today? Janice smiles at TJ. No, dear. He's only here when I'm not. He'll be in tomorrow if you're looking to find him. Okay, thanks. Janice then clusters her tray to her chest, and watches us for a moment. Listen, Chase and TJ, why don't you come by my house again when you get the chance? I look up at Janice and see that she's got a strange look on her face, confused and worried looking. What's wrong, Janice? TJ's voice is full of concern. Did we do something wrong? No, you did everything wonderfully. I just want to have a talk about the way I acted the past few days. Okay, good. Janice lets out an exasperated sounding laugh. Not really sure what came over me. Just now realizing how strange it all was. Okay. Yeah, interesting. I guess that's probably related to the event that happened, like, in, what was it, the 1800s in Echo, where it was, like, mass hysteria. I imagine that's related to that. And probably the hallucinations I've had. Again, I'm hoping it's not just, like, a thing where it's like, this town is cursed. But yeah, we'll see how it gets explained, I guess. She glances at Carl. Well, we can talk about it later, in person. Enjoy your dinner. She bustles off, tray still held against her body. Carl watches her go, stuffing a few fries into his mouth. What was that about? The way Janice had looked at Carl makes me think she doesn't want him knowing about what had happened. I think she just feels bad for making us work so much. Also, remember we saw her with her pants down on the road? We were all there, right? I look over... Wait, no, actually, Carl wasn't there. But Jenna was. I look over meaningfully at TJ. Oh, yeah, maybe. TJ quickly starts sucking on a straw. Well, she should. Jenna's sitting back in the booth, having taken out her brush to start grooming the fur on her face and her head. I inconspicuously slide my plate a little further away from her. Well, once we finish, we can go get my car and head to the forest. As I lift my burger and take a bite, I look over at the counter where I see Janice leaning over a notepad. Her shoulders are shaking, and it takes me a moment to realize that she's crying. Aw. Maybe we're like me, bringing back some memories just by being here. Like we didn't have the best time in Echo with Sydney dying and everything. And now just being back here is kind of subconsciously reminding us of the terrible things. And even Janice is being reminded just by our presence here. I don't know, am I on the right track at all? The forest is really just a patch of trees on the side of the road near Leo's house. While it's technically small, it still covers several acres, which is enough to get lost in. The sky is a soft blue now, just enough light to see by. It won't be long before that won't be the case, though. I pull off to the side of the road in the spot where I think the birdhouse might be. It's been well over a decade since the last time I've seen it. This is probably where the treasure hunt is going to end, considering the time that's passed. The birdhouse probably isn't even there anymore. We all step out of the car into the warm evening air. Carl folds his arms on the hood of the car and grins at me. See? Even with the sun gone, it's roasting. At least you can drive me home now. Yeah. I look over at Leo's house, but his truck is gone. TJ catches my glance. I might tell him what's going on if we find something and you want him to join us. TJ picks at his claws. It's alright. I give him a quick side hug as we step up to the edge of the trees. I can see why TJ doesn't want to tell Leo about this. He was right about Leo pretending it didn't happen. I can't imagine what would go well if we told him about dredging up old Sydney scavenger hunts. So, where is it? Jenna looks into the empty ditch between us and the forest, wrinkling her nose at the old scraps of garbage inside. Well, Carl looks up and down the tree line, squinting. It kinda looks different now, but I think it's about here. It's only like 10 feet in, right? Carl looks at me. That sounds about right. We can fan out and check all the trees that close to the road. TJ jumps across the ditch lightly, much more lightly than the clumsy hop I execute right after. I land unevenly on the opposite incline, and windmill my arms as I lean back. Carl starts laughing before I even fall, but TJ reaches out and grabs me by the shirt, yanking me back up from the ditch. I fall into him awkwardly and quickly step back, brushing myself off, even though there isn't anything on me. Are you okay? I'm fine, thanks. I glare over at Carl, who's still laughing. Did you even try, man? He leaps over easily, clearing the ditch along with a few more feet. It's not fair, I'm an otter. Don't let that hold you back from achieving your dreams. Of jumping far, with my short stubby legs. Jenna likes to delicately step around the garbage before climbing up the other side. It's okay, you swim better than any of us, Chase. I sigh. Thanks, TJ. I turn back to the forest, which is much darker as the light struggles to filter through the branches and leaves. Well, let's start before it gets too dark. As we spread out amongst the trees, I'm struck with how quiet it is. The only sound is the crunch of our feet on the dead vegetation, and that starts to fade as the others move further away from me. I zigzag through the trees, trying to get a look at their full circumferences. From what I remember, the birdhouse was a plain old wooden thing that hardly stood out from the trunk that it was attached to. We might not see it, even if we were looking right at it. While it's been a long time, walking between these trees does bring back some memories. We stopped coming here after what happened to Sydney, mainly because this was his favorite place to hang out. He liked to play capture the flag here. I can still remember how fast he was, how I'd only catch glimpses of his tail between the trees before he disappeared with the flag. His team won almost every time. The summer of 2002 was the last time we played. Sydney had even been getting along better with TJ then. That might have been the best summer of my life until it happened. Wait, oh, so it happened in 2002, not 2004? It was almost like Echo saw us having too much fun and wanted to end it. For good. Sydney had still been a dick, though. The image of Sydney whipping TJ mercilessly with the towel we used as a flag comes to mind. I move closer to the edge of the tree line before slanting back in again. Okay, so, if it was 13 years ago, then I would have been 11? Yeah. Or 10, actually. Yeah, I'm just realizing how ages work. Looking up between the branches, I see that the sky is a darker blue now. Pretty soon it'll be pitch black. It was about this light the last time I was here. I'd come alone and I was 10, maybe 9. It's hard to remember now, but I think I'd gone there because I was sad. I'd had good memories of the forest, so I thought going there might make me feel better. I was standing in the forest, waiting to see if I did feel better. It didn't happen, so I sat down in the leaves and started crying. I was there for maybe 5 minutes, before I heard some branches creaking above me. I looked and saw feet swinging around. Oh. This confused me, so I stood up and backed away, staring up as I slowly realized I was seeing a fox being hung by its neck. Even now, I can remember the way he looked, his overalls and his white shirt. His head had been tilted down toward me, his tongue lolling out of his muzzle, his eyes blank. I can even remember what looked like pinkish red blood on the white fur of his chin. Then I tripped over a branch, and when I looked back up, he was gone. I can't remember much after that, except that I'd gone home and told my parents. That ended up with me seeing a doctor. They never found anything wrong with me, at least anything that might relate to seeing things. In the end, we were told that sometimes kids hallucinate, that it would stop happening as I got older. I hugged myself, feeling cold and a little scared now that I've brought up that old memory. While I know that I was at the age where kids hallucinate most often, I still can't get out of my mind how real it had been. Still, that's not exactly what's giving me the chills right now. Because I just realized that that had been the summer after Sydney passed. What? Okay. Maybe I'm thinking too hard about the dates right now since Chase is also just trying to remember them. That's why I was sad, because I remembered how happy the summer before that had been. So what Sydney wrote doesn't make any sense. So I was actually right with my joke suggestion. Okay, weird. Unless I'm going crazy. A creak behind me makes me jump, and I whirl around, eyes scanning the branches, terrified of what I might find. Okay. But there's nothing there, just branches creaking in the wind. What about a Windows 10 computer going dun-dun-dun, like someone, unplugged a USB from it? I stare for a while longer before a shout from far down the line of trees makes me jump. I found it! It's TJ's voice, high-pitched and excited. I shake myself out of my trance and start jogging towards where the lynx's voice came from. Maybe I've confused things and I'm just remembering things incorrectly. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's the only thing that makes sense. Yeah, besides someone like mimicking Sydney's handwriting and writing all of that in there, and then like putting it in Carl's crawl space. What if Carl wrote it? What if he's really good at imitating finger? What if he's really good at imitating handwriting? As I come up on the lynx, Carl and Jenna are already there, standing around a tree trunk. Sure enough, a little wooden birdhouse is tied to the trunk with rusty wires. I can't believe it's still here. It does look pretty beat up. Jenna points to a little wooden plug in the opening. It's closed up. Think it's been closed this whole time? I don't know, maybe. Okay, I had a blackout, so I'll start from a few lines before I blacked out, because I remember saying this sloppily. TJ pokes at the plug with a claw, then grips around the edges of it with all his claws before gently pulling the wooden cork-like thing out. A thick, sticky-looking trail of cobwebs follows it. We all stare into the dark hole that's revealed. Chase, wanna reach in there? I'm sure there aren't any spiders. I shiver involuntarily. I don't really want to either. Jenna sighs before pushing past TJ. Bending over, she picks up a twig and sticks it into the hole before swirling it around. When she pulls it back out, it's like she's made a cotton candy cone of spider webs. She drops that, then takes out her phone, turning on the flash before holding it up to the opening. Well, we all wait anxiously for her to say something. There is something here. With that, she reaches in with just her fingers. After a few crinkling sounds, she pulls out a Ziploc bag, and inside is a folded up piece of paper and a blue comb. Holy shit, no way. Okay, well, I think my suggestion of Carl setting this up is gone now. I don't think he would have been meticulous enough to put spider webs in the way. Well, no one ever comes back here, so I guess it makes sense. He actually put a comb in there to make it rhyme. Jenna makes a few jerking motions away from the birdhouse to get rid of the cobwebs. She looks around, then sticks it out to me. Since you read the last one. Okay. I glance at TJ, but he doesn't make any indication that he might want it. The bag is covered in what looks like dirt and cobwebs. A few clumps of both dangle from the bottom. I open it carefully, and when I pull out the paper, I can tell it's been wet a few times. It's a little crumpled, but when I unfold it, the water damage is bad enough that I can't read it. Still, the paper immediately splits in two this time, and I have to hold them up together as I read it. It's dark to the point where I have to have Carl hold up his phone to give me some light. Good job, but that was a little easy, right? Next, we will find out how brave you are. I know this was already a scary test for Chase, but that doesn't count. Do you really remember? Okay, get a flashlight and make sure Leo is with you. Well, shit. Here it is. Stay in school, it will be cool. We'll have fun in 301. I hope you don't die. Sid. Okay, we're all quiet for a moment, then TJ giggles. I look at him, but he's covering his mouth with a hand so I can't see him smiling. That's not really a riddle, is it? I smile. Go easy on him, he was a kid. Sorry. So, the old school in room 301? I assume that's what he meant by a test of courage. Shoot, he went in there all by himself? I wouldn't even do that now. Yeah, that is a little weird. The feeling that something isn't right grows inside my chest. Yeah. What? I'm not even going to make any theories because, no. Well, okay, I can make theories, but I can't assume that I'm right about them. Definitely not. Perhaps Sydney did not actually die in the lake. He actually faked his death. Somehow. Or he came back to life. Or Chase is misremembering and Sydney was just being unusually brave. Sort of like he knew he was going to die even though he didn't actually know. But like because this... Again, people talk about that sometimes happening in real life where people like already know they're gonna die. But then it's usually just that people are like reading into something that they did earlier a little too much. Because they happened to do something that kind of sort of made it seem like they knew that they were going to die. Like how sometimes people who have committed suicide will have like talked about death sometime before their death, and people will like be like, look, they were foreshadowing it. Sometimes people just talk about death because it's a pretty common topic to talk about. But yeah, I don't know. The feeling that something isn't right grows inside my chest. Well, we have to break the law to get in there. We'd be trespassing. Jenna glances at TJ because we all know the Lynx wouldn't dare break the law. Besides, it's getting late. Maybe we can go check it out tomorrow. One of us can go in for you, TJ. TJ looks up at the sky, where stars are starting to twinkle through the branches. Well, if we're going to trespass, we should do it at night, right? Jenna's mouth falls open. What? TJ looks flustered. I mean, we don't have all that much time left here, so we should probably get as much of it done as we can. So, you're okay with breaking the law? Well, yeah, if it means we could finish this. We all stare at him. I don't know what else to say. I just really want to get this done. It feels right. We're quiet for a moment before Carl claps his hands together. Well, alright then. Let's go. We've still got a few hours before I'm going to bed. Jenna sighs loudly. Alright, but I want to get back before 10 so that I can finish my papers. Yeah, don't worry. Onward! Carl marches ahead of us, taking a running leap to cross the ditch. I look at TJ, who's still looking fidgety again. Hey, we'll finish this before you have to leave, okay? TJ gives me a small smile. Okay. Carl says that a cop still patrols Echo randomly at least once a night. Because of that, we let Janice sit out in the car and keep watch. If someone shows up, she'll text us, which should give us time to get out the back of the school. It'll still look suspicious as hell, but as long as we're not caught on the property and have some sort of excuse, we should be fine. At least that's what Carl says. We stand there in front of the door, and I notice that a couple chains hang loosely off the door. No locks to be found. Well, at least that hasn't changed. Carl shrugs. Teenagers break in all the time. No point in putting a lock back on every time. Carl gives the door a shove, and it slides open very slowly, letting out an unearthly squeal as it does. The three of us stand there, staring into the darkness. Okay, if the thing is still there in room 301, I would kind of be surprised, at least if I was one of them. Because this is like in a school. Not just in a forest in a birdhouse. Granted, it seems like it's a pretty creepy place to go to, but in the school, but like still, the chances for no one finding any of these was somewhat low, I think. TJ fidgets next to me. Having second thoughts? No. His voice comes out in a crackly squeak that Carl snorts at. Just so dark. Nighttime is a way of doing that, my man. Good thing I charged my phone before we left. Carl takes out his phone from his pocket and holds it up before turning on the light. Mine's almost dead. We can share. Carl sweeps the light inside, revealing graffiti-covered walls and dirt-covered floors. Oh, that's right, so it's an abandoned school. But still, you think that like one of the teenagers would have gone in and found it. Nice. I look back and see Janice staring at us from the car. She gives me a thumbs up. I inhale deeply. Well, let's go. I take out my own phone and step inside, and TJ follows me. Carl stands next to us, spinning in a circle. Well, it's not that creepy. Okay, so the rooms here are the 200s. TJ points up at a doorway next to us, a small label above it reading 203. So that means we have to go up one floor. Carl sweeps his light around and points to the staircase. Carl sweeps his light around and points to the scare? Why do you... I mean, it's a horror game, I guess, but... Carl sweeps his light around and points to the staircase. Shall we? Those things better be stable. Carl points his light up the staircase. I can see some graffiti up there. It's probably fine. The ram leads the way, at first tentatively setting a hoof on the first step, before testing the next. Yeah, it's good. And with that, he strides up the stairs, while TJ and I following a little more hesitantly. Why don't they just demolish this place? Heard they wanted to turn it into a museum. Can't say why, though. Carl shines his light on the railing, the wood rotted and broken. Hey, do you guys remember when Chase saw someone staring out from one of the windows up here? Oh my gosh, please don't talk about this right now. Do you even remember that, Chase? Yeah, actually. That was a long time ago. I hardly remembered it, but I do remember seeing a dark form in one of the windows. I had been positive it was just an object sitting in the room, but I'd wanted to tell my friend that I'd seen a ghost. It was nothing like what I saw in the trees. Thinking about it is creeping me out, though. Stop! TJ whined as we reached the top of the stairs, then, clearly trying to change the subject, points up at the door. Alright, 305, so maybe this way? Chase, let me see your phone. TJ takes it from me and points it up at the next door over. Yeah, 304, so the last one down. He hands me back my phone and stands there a moment. Carl chuckles. Want me to go first? You scared? TJ glares at him. Come on, guys, I want to get out of here too. Okay. Carl leads the way again, down the hall to the very end. There's more stuff in the way on this floor, with a lot of desks and chairs. Carl keeps his light up, counting down the doors. 303 and 302. 30... Fuck! TJ jumps a foot into the air, and I point my light at Carl. What? Carl turns around sheepishly, rubbing his hip. Ran into this stupid desk. I look like a mother. Really, Carl? TJ clings to me, taking a deep breath. But here's the door. Carl points the light back up above the door, and sure enough, there's a 301 up there. TJ and I stand next to him, both staring into the dark room. Hey, I think this might actually be the room you saw the thing staring at you from. Thank you, Carl, for saying that. Carl. There's a warning tone in TJ's voice. I rub my chin. Actually, yeah, I think it is. TJ sighs loudly and closes his eyes. Guys, please, can we just... Yeah! Ah! Ah! Carl thrusts his hand into TJ's side as he yells, sending TJ into a hysteric fit of screaming and grabbing onto me. I stumble as I try to keep the lynx from rending my flesh with his claws. Oh shit, sorry, Ow! Carl reaches out to, I assume, comfort TJ, but gets a backhand across the face in response. You ass! I watch the two of them with wide eyes, never having seen TJ so indignant. Carl stares back, a hand up to his cheek. Whoa! Alright, let's start looking. As if nothing had happened, TJ takes my phone and strides into the room, his tail twitching in irritation. He cursed! Oh my god! I can't believe you slapped me. Carl calls after him, but gets no response. I smile, trying not to laugh as I walk past the ram. Can you? I mean, there's that, too, but also he swore, which is something I don't think he's done in the whole game so far. Like, he avoided cursing even when he was, like, back at the river after Flynn's tantrum thing. He asks me, rubbing his cheek as he follows me in. Hey, you asked for it. Probably not the best time to be scaring him. Yeah, whatever. What the hell are we looking for anyway? I look around. From what I can see, there's not much left in the room. A few desks are pushed up against the wall, and aside from a chalkboard and map at one end of the room, there's nothing else. I go over to stand by TJ at the other end of the room, looking at the desks. There's not much in here, is there? TJ sweeps the light around the room, frowning. Not really. He points the light at Carl, who's at the other end of the room with a chalkboard. Anything written on the chalkboard, Carl? Carl shines his light on the board, then gasps. What? There is! It's a whole lot of dick! Carl steps to the side, pointing his light at the board, and sure enough, it's covered in countless drawings of dicks. TJ sighs. I mean, we were bound to hit a roadblock eventually. I trail off, staring at the window at the far end of the room, where I see a small-looking box on the ledge. Really? What's that? I point, and TJ shines the light over at it. A metal toolbox glints back at us. TJ immediately walks over to it, and I follow him. Carl joins us as TJ fiddles with the latches, popping them open. There's a soft creak as he lifts the lid, a tray extending out as he does. And there, sitting in the tray, is another folded piece of paper. There's no way. Yeah, that makes no sense. Why not? TJ gently picks up the note, handing me back my phone. Try none in this for me, please. Someone would have taken it by now. Well, they didn't, see? TJ had unfolded it, and he shows me the handwriting, the exact same we'd seen on the other two notes. I frown, but I don't say anything more. Maybe it did just sit here for the past 10 years, no one wanting to bother with an old-looking toolbox. Yeah, I mean, I'm just surprised it's still sitting on the ledge. Like, no one knocked it off and, like, opened it or anything. Maybe it was on the floor at one point, but then someone politely trespassed here and put it back on the ledge. But this place is broken into regularly, with the whole point being to tag or take stuff. Oh, someone definitely should have taken it by now. This was all on top of the idea that Sydney came in here as a little kid just to hide a note. Something isn't right, and I'm starting to feel uneasy. Yeah, it could be that, like, they just... Well, no, it's still... The writing still wouldn't make sense. Because he still talked about the thing that apparently happened after his death. Because I was thinking maybe someone just had all the notes because they'd maybe already done the scavenger hunt. And then they just left them around here again once we had our reunion. But, like, yeah, that doesn't make sense because the writing in the notes is still, like, not what you would expect from Sydney. But yeah, my two theories still remain, but both of them are really not likely at all. The ones that he faked his death, or that he just did actually put this all here. And I did see the body hanging before he died. But yeah, those are both equally unlikely, I think. I don't have time to dwell on that, though, as TJ begins to read. So, you went to the school. You found it with some tools. Next, go to where I sleep. It's where I keep my secrets, something Chase can't keep. Said. It's silent for a moment as we all take that in. I feel my face flush and my fur prickle as I wonder what the hell that last line is supposed to mean. Carl and TJ don't look at me, but I can sense that they want to. Carl is the first one to make a sound, clearing his throat. So, Sydney's bedroom, maybe? That's what I'm thinking. This is a kid writing this stuff, so it should be pretty straightforward. I shake my head. Really, guys? TJ finally looks over at me. What? There's a defensive tone in TJ's voice, and I know he knows what I'm about to say. This is way too much. TJ frowns at me. Too much what? You know. I trail off, not used to TJ looking at me this way. He lets the silence drag on, and I look over to Carl for help. He clears his throat again. You know, Teach, this is pretty weird. Like, someone would have probably taken it by now. Why did that have to be the case? People could have just missed it. We almost did. TJ looks back down at the note, holding it in both paws. I reach out for it, but TJ pulls it back, like I'm going to try and steal it from him. Can I look at it for a sec? TJ hesitates, then holds it out to me slowly. I eye the links as I reach out, taking the note from him gently. TJ's behavior alone has me deciding that this whole thing is definitely a bad idea. The note looks old, just like the first two we found. The writing looks the same too. Maybe it is possible that Sydney came in here to hide the note, wanting to make the scavenger hunt especially scary for us. I mean, he did talk about that in the first note, that this one was like a lot bigger than the other ones. But still, I can't shake the feeling that something is off about it. I need to find time to really think about this. For now though, I hand the paper back to TJ, who takes it from me gingerly, as if worried it'll fall apart. Carl, do you know who lives in Sydney's old house now? Carl tips his head back as if thinking. Huh, I can't remember his name, but he's a red panda, I think. Well, let's go then. I give a start. To the house? His family moved out right after it happened. There's no way it's still there, TJ. The other two were. This is different, though. Might as well try. I mean, both of these were already kind of suspicious, but like this one was increasingly suspicious, and this next one will be even more increasingly suspicious. But like, I wouldn't be surprised at this point. Now that we found this one here. I can't imagine going up to the new homeowner and telling him about Sydney and this posthumous scavenger hunt, and him just letting us in. I mean, he's also not the new homeowner, probably. I mean, new compared to Sydney and his family, but not really new, probably. But the determined look on TJ's face tells me right away that I won't be able to talk him out of it. Yeah, I am the one who told him to start being more assertive. I sigh. Well, can we at least do it tomorrow? I look up my phone. It's almost 10. TJ doesn't say anything as he looks out the window, his face barely visible in the darkness. Carl shifts around next to me. Yeah, I'm getting pretty tired. We'll have all day tomorrow. TJ suddenly turns around and heads for the door. Fine, but we are going. I am, at least. Carl glances at me, probably feeling as uneasy as I am. Hey, I'm coming too. Just think it'll be easier. TJ doesn't respond, and we make the rest of the treacherous journey out of the school in silence. Jenna looks up from her phone as I slide into the driver's seat. Find anything? Yeah. Another note? Yeah. Well, what did it say? I busy myself with searching my pockets for the keys, so Jenna turns in her seat to look back at Carl and TJ. Well? Next one is at Sydney's old house. What? Really? Yes, we're going there tomorrow. TJ doesn't offer anything more, so Jenna turns back around in her seat and gives me a look. She seems to sense the mood, though, and doesn't question any further. As I stick the key into the ignition, TJ speaks up again. Chase, what did he mean by you not keeping secrets? A moment of silence goes by before I answer. I don't know. Or I don't remember. It's been a long time. I lay awake next to TJ, listening to the lynx's steady breathing. I've been tossing and turning for the past 3 hours, trying to get some sleep, but my mind won't settle. This whole scavenger hunt has left me with such a bad taste in my mouth. Something about it is especially unsettling, and I've turned it over and over in my mind, examining it from every angle, and now I'm sure of it. I saw that fox hanging in the forest after Sydney died. That's why I was there in the first place. That's why I'd been so sad. I turn over on my side, gripping my pillow in both paws as I stare at the wall, still listening to TJ's soft snoring behind me. So how the hell is any of this happening? It's scary, but not because I think Sydney's ghost is writing scavenger hunts or some stupid shit like that. No, someone wrote the notes pretending to be Sydney, then planted them around the town for us to find. And that someone is likely one of us. Leo, Carl, Jenna, Flynn, or even TJ. Well... That would still be kind of weird, though, wouldn't it? Since, like, the first one we saw, the one that was in the birdhouse, like, the entrance to that place was covered in cobwebs and dust, I think. So, like, how would they have gotten the letter in there? Or did they somehow plant the cobwebs in there? Is that a thing you can do? I don't know. Is that a thing one of us can do? Is the better question, probably. And, of course, imitating the handwriting. Like, no one has questioned it being Sydney's handwriting so far, and I'm sure they probably all know it at least somewhat well, since they had the other scavenger hunts as well. Yeah, I don't know. Are any of us sick enough to do something like that? And if so, who? Probably Leo. I think if it was one of us, it would be Leo. I tried to remember if I'd told anyone about that incident in the forest before today, but I honestly can't remember. Apparently my mom had told some people about it, Jenna's parents for one. But I really can't imagine Jenna being among the aforementioned. Wait, oh, I hadn't even told anyone about it, except for... okay. Interesting. Whoever's writing them seems to like singling me out, too. Mentioning the forest and how I told secrets. Yeah, it's Leo. I roll back to stare at the ceiling and start wondering about TJ. He's been acting really strange the past few days. His bright, cheerful demeanor almost completely gone after we started the treasure hunt. I guess it's possible that he's upset enough to do something that's as crazy as this. Maybe it could make him feel like he's connecting to the person he'd watched die over a decade ago. I doubt it. Maybe he did it a long time ago and it's only now that we've come across them. Maybe he can't remember because he buried those memories. Those papers do seem pretty old. But I can't shake the feeling that this person has it out for me in some way. Yeah, that actually makes sense. Oh my god. It was probably Leo. Maybe. I mean, just a theory, but like... The birdhouse was near Leo's house, so he could like go there and check if anyone had tampered with the cobwebs or something to make sure no one like got it out of there. And like he's been living in Echo the whole time, so yeah. And then he could have just planted the other ones later. And he was acting kind of suspiciously when we were looking for Carl. Like he was telling me to go to the back porch to find something, even though even I pointed out that like it's pretty unlikely that Carl would be there. So that could be when he planted the first letter in the crawl space. Because we don't really know the order of events there, I think, right? We don't know if Carl was already in the crawl space when we got there, or what. Well, no. Well, he might not have planted it then and there. Because, yeah, I don't know. That makes me think maybe we'll see it from the cameras, like, that Carl had in his mansion. Or in his parents' mansion. Like maybe they did set those up and we can see from the footage if Leo broke in there or something. Okay. Well, hey, now I have a theory, at least. Honestly, it seems pretty likely, too. Although it also could be, like, a bunch of red herrings. Like, that could be that Hallie's trying to make me think that that's what happened, but it's not. But, I don't know. From what I've seen of his writing so far, it feels like it's the kind of thing that if he was trying to make me think that, then he would have mentioned it, like, right now. Like, he would have probably made Chase suspicious of Leo. But maybe not. I don't know. I think about how Carl was the one to find the first letter. But I almost immediately dismissed the idea that Carl might be involved. He would have no reason to do it. Unless... the only other person I can even imagine doing this is Flynn. Really? You can't ever imagine Leo doing this? Considering the whole circumstances of everything? He was the one most upset about Sydney's death, aside from TJ. Carl and Flynn seem to have grown pretty close over the past year or so. Could the two of them be involved somehow? I mean, yeah, I guess it's possible that they could have teamed up. But considering the focus on Chase in the letters, I'm leaning towards Leo. It's pretty suspicious that it would just show up in Carl's basement. Wait, weren't we in the basement as well? Like with TJ and Flynn? I don't know, maybe there are like multiple parts of the basement or I don't know. I roll back to my side, preferring to stare at the wall. I don't like suspecting my friends like this, but this whole thing is messed up on so many levels, and I'm really worried about TJ. Depending on how this all ends, it could make things even worse for him. Considering how Flynn treated TJ at the river, I wouldn't be surprised if it's leading up to something terrible. And on top of all of that, there's the insidious way that these rhymes refer to me. I decide that I'm going to have to do something after we find the next note, depending on what it says. If we even find it at all. I'm hoping that we don't. Okay, yeah, so I'm not suspecting Leo at all. Like, Chase isn't suspecting him. So it could be that he even told him about, like, seeing the hanging body in the forest, and so that could be how Leo knows about it. Like, Chase just not suspecting him is why he is forgetting that he told him, maybe. If you go in, I'll give you $1. No. $5. No. 10. No! You could buy like 20 candy bars with that money. I'm not going in. Alright, quit yelling. Carl and I swing side by side, synchronizing our legs so that we swing back and forth at the same time. As always, it doesn't work because Carl's so much heavier than I am. The wind feels good on my fur, finally cooling me down after being out in the heat all day. Toby sits on top of the slide next to us, watching with a bored look on his face. It's my turn, Chase. In a minute. It's been like 15 minutes. Nah. Toby sighs and sits back, pouting. I look back over at the old school and smile. But if you go inside, I'll let you. No! Toby's shout seems to echo around us, and I giggle. Fine, fine. We swing a little longer, the rhythmic squeaking of the chains being the only sound. When's Sydney coming back with the popsicles? He's taking forever. Maybe his mom caught him and made him stay home? Carl leans far back in the swing, and I feel the entire thing shift around. I wonder if it's going to collapse. We should go to your house, Chase. It's too hot. I want to swing. I lower my feet and let them kick through the dirt as I slow myself down, sending a cloud of dust in the air. This talk about Sydney reminds me of something. Something I'd been told about yesterday, and now that he isn't here... Hey guys, my mom told me something about Sid yesterday. But wait, I am calling him Sid now. He did say just that it didn't stick. So maybe we tried using it, but it didn't feel right. Toby's already slid down the slide and walked up next to me, holding one of the chains on the swing as he tries to push me out of the seat. Don't push me, Toby! Don't you want to hear it? It's a secret. I move to stand between the two swings as Carl kicks his hooves into the dirt next to us. Keep swinging, Carl. I want to swing with you. Wait, what's the secret? Swing, Carl! Wait a minute, it's really weird. That seems to finally catch Toby's attention, and he settles down. What? Carl and Toby stare at me, and for the first time I feel a little worried about telling them, but having their full attention like this is kinda cool. You know what happened to Sid's dad a while ago when school started, right? Yeah. Carl's completely stopped on the swing now, staring at me. Well, my mom says the cops think it's really weird what happened. Sydney's dad died. He's in heaven now. Toby says it matter-of-factly and starts to swing a little again. Even if you're a Mormon, you can go to heaven. My dad said so. Yeah, but do you know how he died? I start whispering and look over my shoulder at the dirt road to see if Sid is coming. It's empty for now. He accidentally got shot when he was hunting with Sid. That's what the adults told us, that he was accidentally shot. Maybe while he was loading his gun. My mom said they aren't sure if that really happened, though. What do you mean? Toby seems to have taken interest again and stopped swinging, staring at me. Well, maybe Sid did something. Carl frowns. Like Sydney did it? I mean, I don't know, but my mom said to be careful around him, just in case. Toby's eyes suddenly widen even more as he suddenly understands. Sydney killed his dad? Shh! Toby flinches as I grab his muzzle with one paw, squeezing it shut. You have to keep it a secret. Toby just sits there, staring at me. Carl does the same. Now I kind of wish that I hadn't told them. They don't know, though. My mom just said to be careful, that's it. It might have been an accident. I talk kind of fast, like I'm trying to take back what I just said. I let go of Toby, but he just sits there and doesn't swing. Carl just stares at the ground, then his ears flick up. A few seconds later, I hear scuffing footsteps making their way up the dirt road, and I turn around to see Sydney jogging towards us. His arms are filled with colorful ice pops wrapped in plastic. Hey, sorry. I had to go into the basement freezer to find some. They're Super Wolf Pops. He stumbles up next to us, kicking up another cloud of dust. He stands there for a second, breathing heavy, sweating through his thick fur. Grab one? The three of us reach out automatically and take one of our own. Mine is partially melted already, blue liquid pooling at one end of the plastic. Sydney frowns at us. What were you guys talking about? Nothing. Carl says it almost before Sydney can finish his sentence. Sydney glares. Yeah, right. What were you saying about me? Sydney turns on me, and I just shake my head, busying myself with opening the plastic. Then Sydney turns to Toby, his glare turning into a smirk. Alright, Tobias, you'd better tell me what you were talking about. I feel my stomach turn, even as I open the package and turn it upside down to pour the sweet blue juice into my mouth. Tell me, or I'm gonna wrestle you. Sydney goes at Toby with his paws up, baring his blunt claws. Toby eyes him for a moment, but once Sydney gets close, the lynx twists out of the way like only a cat can. Don't touch me! Toby hides behind Carl and I, as Sydney turns to watch him, lowering his paws slowly. What's wrong? Toby doesn't say anything, standing behind me quietly. I can feel his cold ice pop pressing against my back. We stand in silence for a while, and I can see Sydney trying to figure out what's going on. I try to think of something fast. Hey, let's go to my house and play on the trampoline. Yeah! Carl hops out of the swing and starts walking toward the road. I follow him as Toby clings to my side. Sydney doesn't follow, and after a moment I turn back to look at him. He's glaring at me. What? He goes on glaring before throwing his ice pop into the dirt and running past us. You guys suck! He runs up the road and back toward town, disappearing into the bright sunset. Friday, Friday. It's not that kind of Friday, I think. Yep, there's no music. Especially no Rebecca Black music. But yeah, I think that's where I'll end it for now. That was a way longer day than I expected. I spent 3 hours on that one. It's the longest so far. The other ones were all like an hour, maybe. Around that. Like an hour or an hour and a half. But yeah, we got some theory fodder. For me specifically. And anyone who might be watching this who hasn't played the game before. Yeah, I think it was Leo who did the scavenger hunt. I doubt this game would actually pull like a thing where it's Sydney's ghost doing this and the town is cursed by his ghost or something. I think there's probably some reasonable explanation for all the like mass hysteria type stuff that's happened. Like maybe there was just some very clear explanation for what happened in the event of a mass hysteria in the 1800s or whatever. And then because of that, people who lived in the town kind of started feeling uneasy about it in a way that they started also kind of getting hysteric about this kind of thing. And I was also going to mention about the whole Leo thing with the scavenger hunts. I think there's one point where he mentioned in like the letter that we found in the birdhouse that we might like want to get Leo for the next one. So if Leo planted that, then I wonder if he was actually like looking forward to us coming to him. Like maybe that's why he wrote that there, because it might have given us a motive to go and try to actually get him to join in on it. Because otherwise people would be like, why would he want to join in on this? This seems like the kind of thing that he would not want to do. Because he hasn't talked about it all. So then he can see everyone's reactions to the whole scavenger hunt. But it didn't work. So yeah, those are my leading theories here, I guess. And it also makes sense since Leo is the one who's like, as Chase pointed out, has not wanted to mention Sydney at all. So it could be because like that's how he's been sort of coping with it, is making that whole treasure hunt. But yeah, I guess we can maybe verify my theories next time. Probably not. I imagine the next day is also going to be pretty long. So it might take 2 more episodes for us to reach the end of this route. But we'll see. In like probably 2 weeks. I'm recording these weekly because I just want to get done with the story and see what happens. But I'm uploading them every other week. Because I need to have other stuff on my channel as well. And I have to have time for other stuff too, but yeah. Also, check out our calendar, because I started recording this series in April, and look what pictures on the calendar for April. It's a bunch of otters, like Jay's. This video is going to be coming out in May, though, I think. Let's see what they have for May. Interesting. Kind of looks like Finn, I guess, but it's a bird. It's, whatever that is in English. I feel like we probably don't have that in the game, but we have otters! We have swimming otters! Yeah! Look at them. See you next time on either Omori or Echo. Whichever one you choose to watch. If you choose to watch anything. Bye!